Oh, yeah, I love the lyrics. Come on, folks, let's work together. Hey, everybody, it's Monday. Thank you for tuning in and a little bit of canned heat. Yeah, they've crossed over to the other side, but hey, they played some good music, I'll tell you. A little band got invited all the way down to Woodstock. Not bad. I mean, come on. Let me get that up there so I can see myself. I can. So all is wonderful. What's up, folks? Hope you had yourself a great Saturday and Sunday. Whether you call it the weekend, the strong end, the beginning, the middle, it's all the same. So, uh, perceptions of days, because we put a name, a date, and then put it in an order. Do you really think that the universe really gives a damn if it's Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't even think the universe really cares. Does the universe have a calendar? Does the universe even, like I said, is it even a thing? We can't see the universe. That's what's so freaking strange about this whole thing. I'm reading this book, Einstein Doesn't Work Here Anymore. And it's like the one question they put out right from the get-go. So what propels light? We measure everything according to light, but what makes us think, what propels light? And furthermore, we can't see what the universe really is because we're only seeing the past. We can't see the present, and we can only speculate what the future is. Is that the same thing that's happening here? I don't know. So good to see everybody. Let me just speak favor over us all. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Full restoration, baby. All that was stolen is being restored back. Words have effect. Words have power. Words have meaning. So if you're going to speak it, then speak it to your best being. There we go. Hello, all the moderators. What's happening? Martin and Heidi. Hello, Gaia. Mario there in Croatia. How you doing, my friend? Get that out to you. Deborah Sloan. Hello. Grandpa Brian, seeing you all over. It was really good. Enjoyed all three of your appearances. Good stuff all the way around. Hey, Robert V, what's up? Nina's program was, again, it was good. Good, rich content there. Hey, Julie, what's up? Good to see you. S. Lee, hello. William, hello. Jackie, Emperor Rex, good to see you. Ive the Maelstrom, afternoon and evening. Yeah. So Nina says her PC is being a Karen. I think that was the season of the bitch. But anyway, that's what she says. Paul and Gaia, how you doing? Elderberry, good to see you. Light travels along a photonic wave. So is light a wave or a particle? The perceptions. Hey, Big Al, good to see you. Open-minded, welcome. Good to see you, Joe Sapien. Hello. So, Kathy, good to see you as well. David Castle, good to see you, my friend. And to Rufus as well. So, hey, Jules, good to see you, my love. So, got canned heat going in there. Let's get together. Come on. I was one of those bands that, the early bands, because I contend I don't see much creativity in music today. It's maybe, I don't know. It is not just me. It's a proven fact. Many of the record companies are bemoaning the fact there are no supergroups. They're all getting old. They're all crossing over. Has to be a hell of a concert on the other side. That's all I know. But canned heat, yeah. There you got a drummer, a bass, and a guitar, and a good singer. What else do you need for rock and roll, right? Creedence proved that out. Come on. We got a lot to talk about. This whole thing about light. And then it makes you wonder that what are the physical components of actually the ether, which we call the spiritual realm? For instance, how can they hear? How can they smell? How can they feel? If they don't have a cerebral cortex in a body that goes down into the spinal cord and branches off from there, how does a spirit know? What always puzzles me in studying, whether it's ancient religions, demonology, angelology, the paranormal, the subnormal, maybe the hypernormal, however you want to discuss it, is how do spirits know where there's a door? How do they know where the ground is? How do they know where the floor is at? Are they also impacted by gravity? Is the natural laws really taken from the ether? As above, so below is as above. Because how can a spirit talk? How can we catch them on EVPs? How can we catch them on, spirit boxes? How can we do that? How is it that some speak and some don't? And again, I've been writing to a lot of these shows out there, and it's interesting getting some response. Going to have them on. Why is a ghost clothed? If a ghost was a nudist before it passed over, clothes would be a foreign element to it, right? I mean, I'm just asking these questions. That's all I got to say. Bosto, baby. Happy birthday if you got one, and we are a prosper. This is going to be an interesting deal. I'm going to talk more about this over on the Steiger perspective. Have you heard what's going on in the metaverse, the immersive reality, these platforms out there? At the heart of my question, my answer to that is mind and energy. Well, yeah, Joe, I mean, we can get rid of you down, but then again, we assume what energy is. What do you define energy to be? And what is mind? Is a mind also part of a soul? Is the mind part of a spirit? Just some of these things. So this is really going to be, I'm really going to get in much more into this, because here you have to be, sensitive. The metaverse is virtual rapes. Apparently, there's some real bad shit going on in these virtual realities, these metaverses. It ain't pretty, folks. I mean, it is. There is shit going on in these new virtual realities. Someone wrote me and alerted to me there is some powerful how shall I say this? Spells being done in the metaverse. I'm talking the kind of stuff, folks, that you wouldn't necessarily do in this realm. We're getting the band back together. I love that. Thanks. But this is a big deal, folks. I'll be getting much more into this, because this is getting weird. It's just getting really, really strange is all I got to say. Yeah. Thursday, got Ryder Lee coming on. He has the third part of this vision. The first two were exciting. So looking forward to having Ryder back on this Thursday. And then, of course, tomorrow, Miss Trina. So, Gaia, portals are now wide open, frequencies through the looking glass. Interesting, Gaia. You and Paul ought to come on. We ought to discuss this because it's, wow, there is some, reality is fluid at best. I mean, if there's one thing the Matrix taught us, that reality is really only formed, and it's interesting because as I continue to read about the noble gases, you think about 3 of our realities are chemically induced. Those are from gases. The other 2 are electrical stimulation, which electricity doesn't actually exist in the way that we think, but it does exist within the noble gases of the ether. So if that's reality, if the study by, and it's MIT, by the way, that yeah, Joe, I think a lot, let me tell you, they're kind of distracting on my, that's why I don't typically look in the chat room because I get distracted in there. But to answer your question, there are physical reactions happening to people, particularly young people. I'm talking children. There's some weird stuff going on. And I think it's just as real as this is. I know it is. We immerse ourselves into a reality that's actually 15 seconds in the past. In 15 seconds, you can manipulate a lot of reality. So, yeah, you're right. But Scotty Boy, that's exactly what's going on. Yeah. You got kids, man, that's not the place to be putting them. It's dangerous. That's all I can say. It's dangerous. And now that I also am aware of, you think about this, and I had to think about this because the person who wrote me this it was very detailed. If you're a practicing witch, a practicing occultist, wizard, sorcerer, sorcerist, whatever your modality may be, the metaverse offers something at the next level because it's driving the energy that you're putting into it, which is intent, focus. And for Magick, that's like 90% of it right there, those 2. And then the elementals, the elements, they exist in the metaverse just as well they exist here. They exist in the ether. So just think, if you're ahead of the game, you're really forward thinking. Where else would you really want to meet a spirit being? Where else would potentially an angelic or a demonic or a jinn actually manifest? It would be in the metaverse. Why? It's probably more akin to their reality than it is to ours. So what says the chat room? Thanks for hitting the like button, everybody. But you know, we get so limited in our thinking. You know, I'm a practicing magician, I guess you could say that. Maybe a little higher than that, but anyway. And I know the requirements in a lot of spell casting. It's just not this, you know, unicorns and pixie dust. It's some serious stuff. It requires, in some cases, a lot of dedication, a lot of focus. But I begin to think, okay, so let's say I immerse myself into this virtual reality. All right. My consciousness is blending with another consciousness that I'm not really sure about yet. I don't know the components of this consciousness. I really don't know and I'm a technical guy. No, I invented 2 payment systems. I know technology. But this is not just technology, folks. This is on another level. And if my consciousness becomes adaptive to this other consciousness that's being called the metaverse, immersive reality, virtual reality, however you want to do it. You know, again, here's where the porn industry is always ahead of its time. One of the things that I've, in my 20 plus years in the industry, the video industry, was pornography. The pornographers lead the way all the time. If it wasn't for pornography, we wouldn't have VHS. If it wasn't for pornography, we wouldn't have the CD. And I can just go on and on. And, you know, people can say, oh, that's gross. Well, why don't you grow up and just realize that it is part of the reality of our species? My whole point to this is going back and looking at some of the trade journals, the porn industry is where now Facebook is at. They were there almost 20 years ago. And they're getting into this whole level. So continuing to push this forward, I have hesitation, again, of connecting my consciousness with something that I'm not even sure who controls it. And as the movies are, that is different. I mean, some of the reports I read last night in putting this together, wow. Definitely not for youth. Read one story of an 8-year-old had blisters around their face where the Oculus glasses, I believe the headset, and the child said that he didn't know where he was at. It becomes that real. So there's something going on. And if you now have those who are practicing the arts in a virtual reality setting, it's powerful stuff, folks. I mean, it is seriously powerful stuff. It is truly next level stuff. And if this gets as sophisticated as I think it can become, holy crap. You're talking potentially an intrusion from that verse into this verse. It's already us immersing into that. And again, I don't know who the creator of that is. I don't, you know, this is when you start mind melding this, guess it would say. So what says y'all? Like crap, man. And then this got me to thinking, Diana, you know, yeah, I mean, you think about it, and we have been priming our species for this. When I used to travel a lot, you know, I was doing conferences. I think there was one period I didn't see my wife for almost 30 plus days. I was on the road. And the one thing I noticed was back then was the Black Mirror effect. Wow. Linda, I didn't know that. She just wrote, a man just broke his neck wearing those the goggles. Yeah. Didn't know his real surroundings. Bingo. That's what I'm talking. And if you really get into this and you think about practicing some of the books that I have, and there are master magis out there that I don't have the type books that they have. But if they can transmute, listen, it came from the ether to begin with. Someone channeled that. Every Bible, every Quran, it's all been channeled. And just because it becomes in the area of spell casting, using alchemy, using the elements, using the nobles, gases, etc., into these experiments, don't tell me we can't import that into this virtual reality new metaverse. And I mean, whether you want to call it universe, metaverse, or whatever, it's real. And I really been thinking about this. Boy, if you've got a coven that gets connected in that realm ahead of everybody else, you could be invoking some powerful, powerful entities. Wow. Let your mind rest upon that. Uh-huh. Like, oh crap, man. Yeah. So the graphic I put, the slide together. So I'm meditating. I'm just sitting there. It's kind of this letting, the universe talk. Sometimes when you don't speak is when you hear a lot. And I heard this distinct wording. Earth is depressed. We would call Earth right now, where she is, mentally ill. We never think about our planet. Again, this group does, but the vast majority of humanity, the planet is a living organism. It's a living being. It's sentient. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be here. And our level of what life is, we are merely the extensions of this sentient being that we call Earth. I don't know what her real name is. Some say Tiamat. I don't know. I know she speaks, but it never occurred to me that she would become depressed. And it's interesting because all the studies, I read 4 different studies as to what we're facing. Let me just read you a few statistics here. This is, get ready for this. Now, this was conducted by Johns Hopkins, and this is combining 2021 into the first month of 2022. Here are some interesting statistics. America, the world is depressed. And if human beings are depressed, we convey that, I believe, right into the earth itself. And here is something. 1 in 3 adolescents are clinically depressed. 1 in 5 Americans suffer from a mental illness. Almost 6 in 10 people with mental illness get no treatment or medication. And we can do a whole freaking show on the medication. I mean, the medication is opening. It's like pharmacia, which is the Greek word. And, it's interesting. Paul said in the end days, mankind would become basically a slave to pharmacia, which is pharmaceuticals. Well, it's everywhere. But these medications, in 2019, it was estimated 47.6 adults, that's 19% of the US population, had a mental illness. That number is now in 2021. Gets almost 50 million Americans are now what they would call critically mentally ill. Now, if you know statistics, if you ever taken statistics, the nominal value here to the variable value that we're looking at is that you have to extend this out and go, okay, so what is the plus or minus ratio on this? It's very well possible it could be as many as 75 million Americans are what they would call clinically depressed. More than 40,000 Americans die annually from suicide. And this is one of the weird things about what we're finding out now with these lockdowns and what have you. The ages of suicide amongst children is at a critical level. When you read stories of 7-year-olds committing suicide, we're in deep shit as a species, folks. In 1989, I worked with a wonderful woman, Judy Kroll, and she headed up a foundation in which started a nonprofit called Kudo, Kids Under 21. Billy Joel helped us on it. He wrote a song for it. And back in 89, 90, it was about teenage suicide. Judy lost a child to suicide. And it was alarming back there because I've been very aware of it. It's off the charts today. And it's not talked about. It's so taboo. You don't hear politicians talking about the mental illness that they have inflicted upon Americans, the world. The world is mentally ill, and I say that that mental illness has transferred over into Earth itself. And if humanity is becoming more suicidal, what, we don't think that the Earth doesn't have emotions? You ever been in a tornado? A hurricane? What do you think that? Oh, that's weather. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. That number is going up. It is the second leading cause of death for ages 44 and under, and the 5th leading cause of death for ages 45 to 54. For every woman who dies by suicide, 4 men die by suicide. But women are 3 times more likely to attempt suicide. Mental illness rates were significantly higher for adolescents, about 50% more. And then in the teenagers, that number is now 1 in 3. Anxiety disorders are the highest reported mental health issue in the United States, with over 43 million Americans suffering from this illness alone. And then just extrapolate that out. Numbers probably far more, probably doubled that. It's an estimated 26% of Americans ages 18 or older suffer from a diagnosable mental disorder. Almost half of Americans will experience an episode of mental illness in their lifetimes. And it has a little thing on there, and it says, because of what we've been in the last 2.5+ years, going on 3, is we did not see this train wreck coming. And this is going to be the single largest impact on the healthcare industry. There are 5 million children in the United States diagnosed and living with anxiety. You know, yeah, I could just really go on that. It says over 322 million people worldwide are living with depression. Almost 800 million people suffer from mental illness disorders worldwide. Well, I contend those numbers are significantly higher. So again, just discussion purposes, if the Earth can feel us, which I do believe it can, and what we do to the Earth, man, is this, we've been a terrible steward. I mean, we don't deserve to live on this planet. We really don't. It's a trash heap. The air is dirty. The water is dirty. The water is filled with pharmaceuticals and chemicals. We're killing the oceans. I mean, we're killing off species. I mean, we're obviously very immature, or we as a species is mentally ill, because what sane person, what sane species would deliberately kill their planet? And by the way, the word planet is an extraction of plant. It's what the Earth is. It's a giant living organism. But well, no. We don't see it that way because we've been taught that that's not science. So we are in essence committing suicide. And I wonder if there are intelligent species outside this planet, if in fact Earth who's a long living organism, how much more of this is she going to tolerate? And if she is depressed, and if she is having suicide tendencies, that doesn't bode well for us here. And I wonder how much longer the illuminaries will allow this to continue to go on. I mean, you think about it. How would they continue to push forward on knowing that there's a species here that's deliberately killing a higher life form? This is a serious topic. I mean, how do you deal with this? I mean, I don't know how we will ever clean the soil. We've contaminated all the water. There is no fresh water anymore. There may be fresh water deep within the earth, but the surface water is all polluted everywhere. Because these pharmaceuticals, they evaporate. The chemical compounds are transmuted, alchemy, from the state that they were in into a more gaseous state, which then condenses in the lower atmosphere, in the troposphere, that then produces moisture, which then goes back down into the earth. That part of the earth that was never contaminated to begin with, let's just say, is now being drenched in these chemicals. The amount of people that are on high blood pressure, diabetes, I mean, cancers, I mean, hormones, I mean, it just covers the list like this. Well, we piss it and crap it down into our toilets, which then the toilets go into the municipal sewer water treatment center, in which then the contaminants are separated out of the water. The water is highly chemicalized in order for it then to be acceptable enough to put back in the environment. But at the same time, we can't separate the pharmaceuticals. And I keep on thinking about Earth. Well, all right. She has shown that she can get pretty pissed off. And I wonder how long it will take before, I don't know, self-survival kicks in, for her to become a survival issue for her, for the life form. And then I keep thinking, all right, so we talk about the supernatural, the spiritual. We talk about many different religious beliefs, study a lot of books. We're into a lot of good ones right now. And yet I keep on asking myself, well, if these spirits are so damn smart, why the hell aren't they coming and saying, hey, you guys are screwing up big time. Stop it. Because if you don't, we're going to have to step in. But it seems like they're just fine with this. Interesting comment, Joe. That is. Is Earth so badly wounded or hurt that recovery is impossible? I think she can do a complete inside out. I think she has that ability. But then again, let's take that further. I like that, Joe, because many of the teachings of our ancestors says that there are luminaries, that intelligence, spiritual sentience, isn't merely relegated to bipedal humanids. Life on a sentient conscious level exists beyond our capacity to comprehend. So I just wonder how many of these other luminaries watching what's going on here continue to watch the assault that we do to this planet. And now we're in the midst of a magnetic pole shift, definitely an excursion. It's definitely going to a new place. We know that the sun is now overdue for potential nova effect. It's happened here before. I wonder if our ancestors did the same thing. Did we just so pollute this planet that it became impossible for the planet or the luminaries to allow us to go forward? Because I think we're really screwing the pooch now. I don't know. And it gets back to this mental illness again. If so many humans, if you think about it, almost 1/5 of us on this planet are depressed, mentally ill, according to whatever that standard is. I know many of the people that I encounter hate themselves. They think bad about themselves. And so if that's transmuted out into the ether, and now it looks like mankind wants to go to war, I wonder how much this is going to continue to be allowed. I mean, this is, you don't see it talked about. I mean, I don't see discussions of, is planet Earth potentially suicidal? I say yes. And we don't seem to be stopping anything. There's so many lies and so many deceptions. And getting back to the spirit beings again. So why aren't they saying something? I mean, they're supposedly above this, right? What, is there a cardinal rule that thou shalt not speak about the trash mankind's doing? I don't know. Duct tape. Good. I like to see what's going on. S. Lee says mentally ill is classified as is that a road less traveled? Huh. See, there is so much going on, and we know this. We know it. It's like electric cars. They never tell you about this, but do you know that electric cars are almost 3 times more heavier than fossil fuel gasoline burning cars? No, and the other thing they don't tell you is that your batteries, some's got 3, some's got 5. Well, those batteries are not perpetual. You have to replace them after about 100,000 miles. Do you know what each one of those batteries cost? $7,500. If you got 5 of them, that's $35,000 you're going to have to put back into your vehicle in order to move. And I never understand, if they're always so bitching about the fossil fuels and the coal, and they say electric, 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 where the hell is electric coming from? Oh, green energy? My ass. And have you ever seen what a tow truck driver will charge if your Tesla runs out and they don't have a generator there to give you a recharge on it? That takes sometimes over 30 hours. And they don't tell you that, because the tow truck driver is going to charge you twice as much to tow your car. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing you have to watch about towing them. Okay. I'm just bringing out the obvious. It's crazy. And I don't know. It's nuts. Our species is nuts. And I wonder if this is part of Earth's revenge. I think she says, I'll just let them go crazy. In the meantime, I'm going to give them something to really look at. Don't know. Have you seen the lightning storms around the world? Wait till it comes in our season here. The United States may be in for a lightning storm season of unprecedented proportions. But yeah. Lost in Space says, I'm going full solar soon. Batteries and inverters. You know, Lost in Space, I've been looking at Tesla's thing. So why can't we replicate it? He found out something. I mean, they obviously have blocked off the key components, but electricity doesn't need the sun. The earth has enough electricity within itself. It's one huge generator. Why aren't the angels telling us that? I ask them all the time. Tell me about energy. Tell me how we can actually coalesce it into a form from the ether. Has to be a way. They were doing it back there with the Tartarians. The Gilded Age, they knew something. And then I asked the earth, well, what can I do? I'm just one individual. But what can I do? Hey, how do we comfort her? Can I go into the metaverse and start practicing, exploring? Folks, this is new territory. I was thinking again about John D. Kelly. Could you imagine Crowley telling him, Crowley, I can take you to a place where you will be able to leave your physical body behind. Now, your body will still be connected, but Crowley, I'm going to take you to a place where you can begin to apply everything that you know and now start creating it in a place that man has not been before, at least none that we have record of. I mean, think about this, folks. Think about it. If they're making a buck off it, why can't we as occultists take it from them? Why can't we go in with a plan and start doing some of our own dominance? Why not? No one's doing it. I've read no books on it. None of my library didn't even know about it. So if these entities, these spiritual beings, if they in fact exist in a multidimensional state already, what is one more realm to them? Is anyone listening to me? Are you following what I'm saying? I don't think y'all are getting it. This is absolute new territory. No one's conquered it. No one of the occult has ever gone in. There's apparently some that are in there now. But again, imagine if Crowley knew that he could bring forth, conjure the chief of the demons, the most highest of the archangels. It's more closer to their realm than ours. I keep saying that. Diane, you're supposed to be able to extrapolate. What am I saying here? I'm saying that no one's done it before. I don't know where your background is in the occult. I don't know where you study. But what my point is, this is a new realm. It's all mental to begin with. It's the 7 principles. The universe is mental. Some of you will get it. This is. See, I am of an entrepreneurial spirit. This is something that no one has done. Nothing is written on it. I guarantee after this that it'll start getting out there. Well, Robert B., is it dangerous? I think every expedition going into the new world, going into a journey, a quest, is always filled with danger. But You see, here's the point. We know that we are most likely living in a simulated reality already. So what's the difference? You see, if it's power that requires change, because that's what most people deal in the occult are looking for, to some degree, be honest. If it's not self-empowerment, it's in another way. And so if there can be virtual rapes in this metaverse, the story I read, the woman said it felt real. She was gang raped. And that got me just thinking, boom, boom, boom. Wait a minute. Something's happening here. You got people that are experiencing what is supposed to be a fake reality, a virtual reality, but they're feeling it in their body. There's a connection there. Someone has to be the explorer. That's true, Robert. This is something that and I'm probably, now that I've spoken about it, it'll be all over the freaking place, but okay, so be it. It has to start somewhere. Of course, I'm looking into getting the equipment that'll allow you to do this, but even that, again, is going to, in my opinion, would require a great deal of protection going in to begin with. I mean, it just seems, I have the Maelstrom thought forms. Now you're getting it. Now, see, now we're really getting it. If you can create a golem, a servitor, a thought form, I can create them. We do it all the time. Now extrapolate that into where I'm going into that. It's no different. It's molecules. It's atoms. Yeah, it's an illusion, but so is this reality. And then I think, well, what if we could begin to use this new unexplored realm in a conduit of energy that goes back into the earth, that we could begin in a metaverse in a different realm, send that back. I mean, why not? Yeah. Hadley, listen, I agree. I'm just bringing it out. I mean, when I read the story about what happened, and in the synchronicity of someone sending me an email and going, well, have you really looked into this? What's really going on? And if you look at the equipment they've used, Metaverse, Oculus, don't tell me the occult is not involved in this. And then it dawned on me that, well, again, if I'm going to connect into it, I don't know who's created this, but what they've created is as tangible and as real to the human mind. Anyway, hey, beloved abstract, good to see you. Well, it is a thought. And I'm kind of looking at like this, is that, so why does magic have to be limited to this realm? It's not. True magic is more of the etheric, the spiritual, than it is ever the physical. Nina, start to think about this. I'm glad. And that's why I love this group, because now that I've put it out there, y'all can begin to put it. We're dealing with something here, folks. I mean, this is not just when they put billions of dollars into something, they don't do that haphazardly. Something has been created. I've done enough shows that all of us have, they've already created our own digital avatars. When we die, they don't consider you having the right to your image. That now becomes theirs. So if this is real, think about this, folks. Why can't we inject some of our consciousness in there? Why can't we section it off? And why can't we begin to experiment? Those of us who are well versed in astral traveling, lucid dreaming, out of body experiences, why can't we connect ourselves into that realm? They're already in there, Hadley. They're already in there. Yeah. Yeah. They saw it. Not in the way that we would see it, but yeah. Well, I'd love to get people on to discuss this. If you have, you see, this is a new frontier. I equate it to the poster you see over here. That is the e-manifesto list. I was with the group back in 1998, 99, before there was e-commerce. There was no e-commerce. And that was our manifestos defining what was this new universe, this new thing called the internet, this B2B, B2C, C2C. How does all this work? Retail was absolutely blown away. In the great debate that at many of the conferences that I was at is that, well, how does the brick and mortar going to deal with the virtual store? I mean, that was the huge debate. And here we are now, 20 plus years later. Now we're in a new place, this thing called the metaverse. And it's just a name that they've already attached to something that was already there. But imagine now what they have done. And the way that it works, eventually Microsoft will bring out the new technology that will allow you that as you enter into the metaverse, your body will become a form of exchange of currency. So think about this. They've got currency. They have already sexual predators. Apparently, sex is a real big thing in the metaverse. You have individuals that are now forming gangs. Do you see what's going on here? And this is open space. Whew. I'm just putting it out there, folks. And Magick, I know it works. I know the spirit realm is real. The question now that I'm asking myself, don't tell me it's not possible. The two are connected. We're just not advanced enough to comprehend the unlimited potentiality that awaits. And it can be done in a way that I don't think has to be brought in through the portal that they're wanting people to go through. There's always a back door, always. So Skyheart, let's take it the other way. So if the dark entities are in there, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all, then it begins to tell me that there's already a hierarchy being set up. And if I'm right on this, I don't think there's that much difference between what we would create in a virtual reality as to what we see in death. When you die and your essence leaves this body, where are you going? What realm are you heading into? Are you saying it's predefined? Predetermined? I don't think so. The internet has proven to be one of the strongest conduits of human psychic power that has ever been known to man. And now we're immersing ourselves into an alternate reality. I used to think that that was just taking LSD, but apparently not now. It's technical now. I don't think there's much difference. And if I can conjure or summon an angel or a demon, I think I'll be able to do the same thing in there. In fact, I could probably build the altar. I could build the room. I could build everything that I need down to the minutest detail. Why not? So anyway, folks, this is what we do here. We come here and we pontificate. We contemplate the things of humanity that we're all immersed in. Kelly, I agree with you. Yeah, we are a computer system. It's a fact. Yeah. Well, Linda, send me an email. If you're already doing that, I'd like to find out a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah. You see, I mean, I'll go back and read what was in the chat room, but yeah, I think it has huge, huge potential. I really do. And magic, in my definition, is always evolving. It can't remain the same. It would no longer have a purpose. As I say in the saying, modern science is just outdated magic. So if people are already in there, wow, doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. If it hit my thought path, hey, Susie Q, thank you, darling. Thank you a lot. This was a conversation for serious adults. And particularly, I'm talking to the serious practitioners of the art. I'd like you to give this some thought, because you're the one who I'm really talking to. You know what I'm talking about, particularly where invoking is concerned. And I think that they would probably be more apt. There's less interference, the way I see it. There's less density. All right. Hey, Grandpa Brian, how you doing, brother? Jules, good to see you. Imagination. Yes, the Magi Nation is arising. Teresa, what you got going on? Oh, the ladies, the virtual reality is not necessarily a reality or a virtue. So Dilber, Karen, sure. Yeah. How about that? Sounds cool. We'll probably pick this up again tomorrow as well. It's something I really would like. There is something here. Now, I'm still visualizing. It's still coalescing. It hasn't congealed completely, but there's something here. There is a power source that's huge. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate it. Big Al, thank you. Another day of confusion. Well, Al, wouldn't be exactly fun if there wasn't the confusion. It's like, hey, what the hell did that guy say? Did he say what I think he was really saying? Is he saying like you could bring in the golden dawn? I think we could do something else. If it's possible, and I know that this is in some beliefs very taboo, but imagine bringing the essence of John Dee back in the metaverse. I mean, if you can create an environment, what's stopping you? I don't know. Hey, Robert. Thank you, sir. It does, doesn't it? We're onto something here. And the way I kind of look at it, I don't want it to be like the Bitcoin. See, this is, I think, is an opportunity of immense proportions. And I think the early explorers that are in there now, Yeah. And I'm sure that there's probably millions of them. I have no doubt. Most of the role playing games are some of the deepest magic I have found, and we've got generations that are well versed to magic. They're well versed in catching, casting spells, potions, and etc. All right, folks. Wow, Skyheart, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. I have to go back and see what Rose had to say on that. I didn't get a notice on that, but that happens. All right, folks. I love you all. Thank you. But let's put our heads together. There's some smart people here. There is something here, and wow, if someone's starting to exert power from there to here, yeah, I want to get in on some of that. All right, folks. Much love to you. Peace. See y'all tomorrow. Have yourself a great day and party on, everyone. Come on, sing that song. Sing it proud. Sing it loud. All right.